Hey friends, Ash here with Gents coming at you with a fragrance review today of a niche fragrance, one that I have loved for a long time. I finally got a full bottle back maybe 3-4 months ago, and I'm just now getting around to doing the review. The fragrance that I'm talking about, of course, is this one, Ormonde Man by Ormonde Jayne, and this is an eau de parfum concentration. This fragrance I first smelled when I bought a decant of it years ago, maybe 4 or 5 years ago. I bought a decant of this one, ran through that decant, and it was on my list of bottles that I wanted to purchase for a long time until I finally pulled the trigger. And today I want to talk to you guys about why I love this fragrance so much. In this video, I'll show you guys the presentation for this fragrance, break this one down, again, let you know what I like about it, let you know how this one performs, situations that you would wear it in, etc., etc. So let's jump into this. First off, guys, let's go ahead and take a look at the presentation for Ormonde Man. Now, when you get this in, it's going to have a little slip cover like this. So the slip cover is going to have a little more information on it, and then the box is going to be inside of that slip cover. So I'll show you each one of those things. And the slip cover has kind of a textile feel on the outside, and then it's cardboard on the inside. Here you've got the front of the slip cover. You've got the name of the house, name of the fragrance, concentration, and size there. On the front, there's nothing on the top. And then on the bottom is your barcode. On the back, you've got your ingredient information. And then here is your box, Ormonde Jayne London. Nothing on the bottom, nothing on the back. It is magnetized right here. So you open that and your bottle, oops, will sit right down inside there. And here is a good look at the bottle for you guys. On the bottom is your sticker. The cap does click into place, and it is a heavy metal cap, so there's a good amount of heft to that. Then on the inside of the box, there's this little card which says Ormonde Jayne Ormonde Man Eau de Parfum, created in London, as like a little binding to it, which is kind of cool looking. Open that up and it gives you information on the fragrance. And there is what it looks like on the inside of the booklet. In case you're interested, you can pause that, but I'll break it down for you guys in just a sec. Okay, so on this side, the left side, just got a little bit of information about Ormonde Jayne, how they approach making fragrances, and then on the right side, you have a breakdown of Ormonde Man. I'll read you a little bit of that here. Ormonde for Men, a fragrance most sophisticated despite its unconventional ingredients. Complex and full of character, sultry and mystical, the fragrance exudes soft woody notes, but it is the infusion of oud oil, the world's most prized essence since time immemorial, that sets it apart, elevating the scent to one of true distinction. This enigmatic creation epitomizes the audacious innovation of Ormonde Jayne's first perfume for men. It's so sensual, you may just have to surrender yourself. And then it's got the note breakdown here, and I'll just run through that for you guys as well. In the top, juniper berry, bergamot, pink pepper, cardamom, and coriander. In the heart, oud and black hemlock. In the base, vetiver, cedar, sandalwood, and musk. So there you go, the little booklet for Ormonde Man. Now, I've told you guys before, I love this fragrance, so let's just get it out of the way. This is going to be a very positive fragrance review. Just throwing that out there. This one opens up green, fresh, and spicy. It's got cardamom and juniper in there, along with a bit of pink pepper. It also has a green, almost pine needle kind of vibe in the opening of the fragrance, which is going to come from that black hemlock note. So you've got woody, spicy right off the bat. There's a little bit of sweetness from bergamot in the opening, but there's not too much bergamot in the top of the fragrance. It's just a little citrus touch. I love the opening of this fragrance. I love it. I love the way the opening smells because it does have that coniferous freshness to it, and that's something in fragrances that I love. Like a really good evergreen note, pine note, cypress as well. Things like that I really gravitate toward, and this one pulls it off fantastically in the opening. It just smells great to me personally. Very sophisticated, refined, gentlemanly, but at the same time not stodgy, not old feeling, not dated. This one just checks all the boxes for me. As it dries down, that citrus begins to fade away, and then you have supporting woody notes that come in and mix with that almost piney black hemlock note. The supporting woody notes are going to be cedar and sandalwood. And the cedar at times is going to give you almost a peppery, woody undertone as it mixes in with that black hemlock, whereas the sandalwood is going to give you more of a creamy sort of take on woods. Now I know that in the write-up for Ormonde Man, it mentions oud, and it says, oh, we use oud oils, it's so precious since time immemorial, like it's some sort of 80s fantasy movie that they're talking about, but I don't pick up much oud here. Now, there may be a little touch, a little bit of oud, but not a lot. It's far, far underneath the hemlock, the cedar, and the sandalwood in that order. There's also a little bit of dry vetiver in here, and that just, again, accentuates the whole woodiness of the fragrance through the mid, and the vetiver as well, not as prominent as those three main woods, the hemlock, the cedar, and the sandalwood, but the vetiver I can actually pick up. A little bit of dry vetiver in there. The oud, as I mentioned before, it's like a whisper. The vetiver, if you actually seek it out, if you smell the fragrance, you can pick it out. And speaking about that vetiver being dry, this is a fragrance that's kind of dry in general. As it heads through the opening into the mid, once that bergamot fades away, this is at its heart a dry, woodsy fragrance. As I mentioned before, sophisticated, gentlemanly, refined, but a very dry sort of scent. One thing I've noticed with this fragrance, Ormonde Man, is a little bit of a conversation online on websites like Base Notes, Fragrantica, of people saying that this is a synthetic fragrance. To some people, this comes across overly synthetic, I imagine, for a niche fragrance. I've got to tell you guys, I don't have too much of that issue. When I smell this fragrance, nothing jumps out to me as overly chemical, synthetic, anything. Now, of course, I am comparing Ormonde Man to designer fragrances, more mainstream things when I say that. I'm not comparing Ormonde Man to hyper expensive $500, $600, $700 fragrances when I say that. But when I smell Ormonde Man, nothing here jumps out as synthetic. Dry, woodsy, spicy, fresh. Yeah, but chemically, not at all. Realistically, almost every single fragrance on the market at this point utilizes synthetic notes in one way or another, or aroma chemicals in one way or another, unless it's a house that prides itself on being 100% natural, something like House of Matriarch. And even House of Matriarch has fragrances that are like 99% natural, 97% natural. A true 100% natural fragrance nowadays is very rare. Do they exist? Absolutely they do. But is it something that you're going to see very often? Absolutely not. Even when we're talking about high-end niche fragrances, top of the line, super expensive niche fragrances, they're using aroma chemicals, they're using synthetics. There is nothing inherently wrong with that. And I guess I just kind of wanted to briefly bring that up because I have seen where a lot of people have taken a stance and said, oh, Ormonde Man, too synthetic for me. But for me personally, I don't find that to be the case at all. I find it to be a wonderful fragrance, and it works very well with what I look for and fragrances that I just love to wear for myself. The woodiness in here, expertly done, in my opinion. The piney green, slightly sharp opening is what I like the most about this fragrance. It really grabs my attention, and it doesn't let go for the entire time that this is on my skin. And while the opening is my favorite part, as the other woods come in through the mid and into the dry down, I enjoy that a great deal as well. This one is extremely versatile as well. You can wear this formally, casually to the office. It is a bit more of a daytime fragrance than nighttime fragrance though, because oftentimes with nighttime fragrances, you're looking for something that's a little sweeter, maybe a little more alluring, whereas this one, as I've mentioned a number of times, is more of a refined sort of gentlemanly fragrance. It's almost like you took a classic masculine scent and then you modernized it. That way you don't end up coming off like your grandpa smelled. To me, that's Ormonde Man. The longevity for me is good, 7+ hours, whereas the projection is more moderate. In the opening, it has a really nice scent cloud. It pushes out, But then after that opening, once it heads into the mid and the woods really take over, it's more of a soft sitting fragrance for me. It doesn't disappear, just doesn't project heavily. So for me, overall, the performance maybe slightly above average. Ormonde Jayne has lots of solid men's releases out there. Ormonde Man is the one that I wanted to cover first though, which is why I'm featuring it here today. Do plan on seeing more of their releases in the coming months as I can get my hands on more of their bottles. If you've smelled that fragrance or any from Ormonde Jayne, let me know in the comments below what you think about them. As always, thanks so much for hanging out with me today. Thanks for all your support, and I'll see you guys again tomorrow with another fragrance video. See you guys.